I have shown up to a shoot with dead batteries. And you might be going, well, that was dumb. And yeah, it was. But when you're a new photographer, you're often so nervous about getting everything right that you overlook some of the really basic stuff. And I share this because the other day I was reading a post in one of the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, and it was about a photographer that forgot about a shoot that they were meant to be on, and they had the client messaging them going, are you running a bit late and are we in the right place? And I could just feel my heart sink for them. And the photographer was asking in the group if anybody else had done something equally as dumb. And even though I haven't specifically done that, I have done some pretty dumb things, like using my brand new camera on a shoot the day that I got it before I'd even figured out all the settings, and that didn't end up very well. I've also assumed that my SD card was in my camera when it wasn't, so then when my client showed up and I couldn't get my camera to work, I spent the next 20 minutes rifling through everything I had to try and find the missing SD card. So thankfully they stuck around and we did get the shoot done, but that was pretty embarrassing as well. So thinking about that photographer and all the things that I've done wrong, I've decided to put together this kit so that in the future I've got everything I need with me at all points in time. And I thought I'd share that with you guys today. And most of the things on this list are cheap, so there's no excuse to not have them in your kit. Right, so this is the first iteration of the kit. So I'm going to call it the August 2024. Let's wait for the traffic to go past, shall we? Right, so this is the first iteration of the kit, so I'm going to call this the August 2024 kit because I'm always upgrading my systems and trying to make things better and more streamlined. Now, most of the things I'm mentioning are under $40 New Zealand, which is about $25 USD and about 20 English pounds. So there's no excuse, even if you're on a budget, to not be prepared. Now I'll leave a link to the PDF list that I've made in the description, because it's not really a proper list until you can download it and check it off. Plus links will be in the description so you can start checking those out and getting your kit ready. And as always, timestamps will be below as well. Right, so let's officially get into the list. Aside from things like cameras and lenses and the obvious stuff, the very first thing that you're going to want, and it's a complete no-brainer, is spare batteries. Now, pro tip, number your batteries like 1, 2, 3, 4, so that when you've got one in the camera, then you go and put the next one in. You're not wondering, oh, which battery did I just use? Which one's the next one to use? And then as well, when you get home, you know exactly the batteries that need to be recharged at the end of the day. And number 2 is a spare battery charger. And I say this because that way you can take it with you, and if you happen to leave it at the venue or anything like that, that's not the one that you have at home that you're relying on working. So if you leave it there by accident, you've got time to go back and get it, but in the meantime, you're not worrying about being able to charge your batteries. Now I say this especially if you're a new photographer, because you may not have the couple of $100s that it takes to buy a on-brand battery, for example. So you might be buying some of these cheaper batteries. See, this one's not a Canon. Can I get it to work? There we go. Not a Canon, but an awful lot cheaper. So if you're buying a bunch of these, you may need a charger so that you can keep recharging as you go through the day, through the event. And the other bonus is if you come along with dead batteries like I've done in the past, then you can at least plug it in, get one charging, get that in your camera, get the next one in, get that charging, and you can save the day. Oh, and just for full transparency, this is the one that I normally have plugged in here, and I cannot find my spare, so I'm going to say that maybe having a third one might also be an option, because I don't know where I put the other one, so I'm going to have to get myself another one too. Anyway, so the next thing on the list is spare SD cards. Ta-da! Now, these are actually my old SD cards because I only have a couple of good cards. I've got one in there and I've got one in my normal camera over here. So these are my backup cards, and I keep them all in this handy dandy number 4 little wallet because it's hard. So if I drop it, it's going to protect all cards inside. I do have my spare CF card in there, and it's a lot easier to find these. And if I had just had this on the day that I lost my SD cards, that could have worked a lot better, and I would have been able to find them a lot faster because this is a lot easier. And here's the cool thing, you could even tie that if you wanted to and put that in your bag or attach it to your bag or something, so you never ever ever lose it. And I'm sorry, but how cool is this? It's like, look at my cool cards. Anyway, that's just me. Number 5 is spare batteries. especially if you're like me and you have a microphone, if you are doing any recording of any type, because I know that even as a photographer, there's a lot of us doing recording either for social media or for our clients. So having a couple of extra spare ones of these are good. And these are rechargeable batteries, so don't forget your awesome recharger. This one does both AA's and AAA's. Now, I've also come across these cool ones. I was watching another photographer a couple of days ago where the batteries themselves have like a little port on the side of them, and you plug it in to the battery itself, and I was like mind blowing. And then you plug it into your computer, which means if you can plug it in the USB drive, the USB plug in your computer to charge it, you could probably plug them into your car to charge. So I think that's going to be on my Dear Santa wish list this year. And moving on to number 6 is gaffer tape. Gaffer tape. Gaffer tape. Gaffer tape. This stuff is amazeballs, right? So there's a couple of things here. You want to stick something to a wall, like one of these. You don't want to stick it on your poles. You want to stick it to the wall. Gaffer tape. If your screws are coming a little loose on your lights and they're not quite sticking and staying where they should be, gaffer tape. If the little thingy on your tripod is broken off and your tripod's not tripoding, gaffer tape. There should be an entire song written about this stuff. It is so useful. And if you're like, yeah, I'm fine, I'll just stick with duct tape. Look, I'm a Kiwi, okay? Duct tape and number 8 wire is like our unofficial country motto. We're basically like the cheap version of MacGyver. But no to duct tape. If you were a photographer, you want to get gaffer tape. Why? Because it's industry specific and gaffers use it. And if you don't know what a gaffer is, they're the lighting guys on film. And the reason that gaffer tape is so popular with gaffers, these guys are using lights that are almost as hot as the sun. And I tell you what, if you've ever put duct tape on something and then it goes outside and then you try and take that duct tape off, it is sticky and gooey and like, ooh, icky, disgusting. Not going to happen with this. This is specifically designed. It works really, really well under hot lights. You can stick this stuff to the wall and it won't rip the paint off unless maybe the paint's already peeling. I can't guarantee that, but if you've got a good solid paint job, this thing will go on and will peel off easily. You can stick it on floors, you can tape down wires onto carpets, and it just rips up and goes, and it's really easy. If you pull it like this, you can rip it off with your fingers, so you don't even need to have sellotape, you don't even need to have scissors to go with it. Also, this stuff's really good because, and this is going on to number 7, Sharpies or Vivids, right? Like, I have like an entire collection because we have kids. But I can put these on the ends of all of my poles. So, like, I have like 3 or 4 sets of the poles that I use to hang my backdrops on. And I think I've got 2 sets of lights as well. So, number 1, you can put this around the bottom. So because I've got like 4 different types of these setups. We're also in the middle of renovations, so if you can hear the drilling in the background, that's why. We're working around it though. So I have like 4 sets of poles and all of them are slightly different. And I went to a gig recently and I was like, oh my goodness, which poles belong with which ones? So again, I was unprepared, and that's what I'm going to be using this stuff for. When I got myself some yesterday, I'm going to be taping this around ends of each of them, and then I'm going to make one like purple and one yellow and one pink or green or whatever, so that I can tell the sets apart. And then I'm going to put another one on that I'm going to write my name on, because the other thing is I'm part of a camera club, so if we take anything along to camera club, it is really easy to get my stuff mixed up with theirs. So number 6 is gaffer tape, number 7 is Sharpies and marker and or Vivids, some sort of marker to write on them with. Super useful. Now, I don't know, just stick it there. Anyway, number 8 is a multi-tool. These things are awesome, and my multi-tool is, oh wait, I don't have a multi-tool, I have multiple tools. So that is on my Santa Christmas wish list, because this little baby right here, if you can see it, is for my peak design clip that normally sits on the bottom of here, and instead of having a normal like star driver or something, it's a very specific Allen key. So I have this, and I have a couple of screwdrivers because other things have, normal screws. Gonna be getting one anyway. Number 9 is a carabiner. Now, I take these, I have one of these on my keys. So that just can sit there with me at all points in time. But let's say you're going to an event and you have keys to get into the venue that you're going to be doing something at, and you're like, I cannot lose these keys or it will be the death of me. One of these, attach it to you. The other thing that you can fit on, you can get small gaffer tapes. So get a small gaffer tape, and you can also get some of these Sharpies, and they'll have like a little hoop on them. So small gaffer tape, Sharpie, you've got it on you all day, so you can label anything else that you happen to be doing during the day, or mark out the floor, anything like that. Keeps your hands free and your pockets free. So anything you can hang one of these on the side of your jeans, you're good to go. Right, number 11 is spare lens cloths. And I'm going to be putting a link in there to bigger ones, because I'm sorry, but that's really tight. That's like, you know, that's hard to use, especially if your hands get all sticky and stuff, and it pays to have spares and things. So I'll put the link to some like packs of those, because you can never have enough lens cloths, because your lenses, your screens, hands, glasses, very useful. Number 12 is clips. I love these things. You can just buy them in packs. They're super cheap. You can get different sizes. And I've got another one that's about this big, because they're all up there at the moment holding up my backdrop. These things are amazing. Not only do they hold up backdrops, you can make sure that you attach cords to tripods if you need to. If you have sandbags on the floor, they normally have a hook on them, so you can hook that on, attach it to make sure that nothing flies away and everything stays where it's meant to be. These things are brutally hard. Maybe I could use them as an earring. No, that's not going to work. Anyway, these things can be used for everything except earrings, apparently. So get yourself a couple of packs of these, because they're invaluable. I use them all the time. And last but not least, I missed number 10. Where's my pen gone? Oh, and I missed number 10. That is a blower. I'm going to clean the screen with it. And or you can get these super cool pens. So you've got this side, which is, I'm not sure if you can see that, it's kind of felt on the top, which is really good for like cleaning. And the other end, you push the little ding, and then you have a brush. So you can clean things like your lenses. So that's really good if you've got a little bit of dust on your lens, or something a little bit more like sand and things like this. This is quite good if you've got a bit of sand on there, whereas this is good for just little bits of dust. Obviously you want to be careful and flick things out, not try and scratch it on your lens, because that's a very expensive thing to be scratching. Now there is a lot of debate. I will say there's a huge amount of debate as to whether or not you should use these inside your camera on the sensor inside. Some people are like, yes, you clean that sensor and get some air in there, and other people are like, that's blasphemy. So up to you how you clean the insides, but these will definitely help clean the outside of the lenses. And last but not least, in the camera related gear stuff, we have memory card readers, multiple memory card readers. Now this is the one that I normally have plugged into my computer. It has a CF card reader and an SD card reader and a micro SD card reader. And this one just has an SD card reader. This is just an old one that I have sitting around. But while you've got this one in your computer, these cords tend to get quite worn, especially if you're moving them around or anything like that, and you're putting things in and out of here all the time. So this is the second one of these that I've had. They are great, but again, they're kind of cheaply made, most of them. They're good, but it does pay to have a second one, because you do not want to be left without the ability to manually transfer your photos. So if you've got one plugged into your computer, just grab another spare one. They're only a couple of dollars for some of them. It's just one of those things, when you head towards becoming a professional photographer, having backups of things is just essential, because things break. These things fall apart, you lose them, you pop them down somewhere, you take your computer somewhere and leave it somewhere accidentally. So having that backup is really important. So when you step into the realm of photography with clients, you will very quickly realize that it's not only yourself you have to have organized, but also some backups for your clients, because when you're dealing with people forget stuff. Let's say you show up to a family shoot and somebody's shoe breaks. or the mum's button comes off on the front of her shirt in a really awkward place, right? Or somebody's fly just keeps falling down. You know the days, it's always the day that you're going to be going and doing photo shoots or something really important that your clothing just does not want to play ball. So it pays just to have a few household things to take with you for those kind of emergencies. And obviously, when you start getting into your specific niche, whether that's wedding or family or event photography or whatever, you will find things that come up within your specific niche. But here's just a basic list to get started with that I think will help you out when you start working with your clients. Okay, number 1 is baby wipes. If you're a mother or a parent, you know these can be used for everything. Once again, these should have a song about them. I'm sure there are songs about baby wipes. These things are great because you might have a small child show up that discovered a piece of chocolate that they'd stashed there like 3 months ago, and all of a sudden it's everywhere. And the parent's like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how to fix this. Have new clothes, don't have anything to clean them with. Because I'll tell you one thing, as a parent, it is really easy to try and organize everything, but again, you forget something. So have some baby wipes. You can clean anything with these, shine shoes with them, you name it, you can clean it with these. And the second thing is a couple of small hair ties and hair clips, because small children, they have their hair often out, and sometimes if it ends up all windy, then their hair's going to be all over their face. So having the ability just to give mum a spare hair tie or pin their bangs back so that you can see their beautiful face while you're photographing them. Small thing, pop it in your pack. Now, safety pins, another thing. Let's say that button's missing, right? Really easy. You can stick a safety pin in, take a couple of different sizes, right? We're talking little safety pins. You can button it up from the inside, and then in post-production you can go in and just superimpose the right button over it. Or you could be even more fancy and take some cotton with you and some needles, because it's really only a 2-minute job to put a button back on. And unless you're in a real hurry, that might just save the shoot and make the person wearing it. But it depends. If they can't get out of it, if they can't take the garment off, that's when I suggest giving them a pin, just for modesty's sake. But next thing on my list is a pen and a notebook, because if you just jot down on the page that you're on any quick notes that you want to make for yourself, like don't forget to take lots of photos of Great Aunt Mary, or these are the names of the clients and their children, just so that it's at the top of your mind and it's right there. Also, having a notebook on hand is a lot quicker to make a couple of notes on the fly than pulling your phone out and trying to find the right app and make your notes and things like that. So, and also as a parent, these are great. If you're trying to get some photos of mum and dad and there's a kid running around and you're like, oh, this kid's driving me nuts, give them a book and a pen and say, look, if you could draw some pictures of me taking some photos, that would be so helpful, because I can put them up on my social media or on my website, and you'd be doing me a huge favor if you could do that. Wow. Or, because kids like doing favors, or could you draw me your favorite animal, because I'm kind of needing some ideas and that would be really helpful. Basically, if you can convince children that they are helping you, they'll do anything for you. And it's really lovely and it keeps them busy. And if you've got a pen and paper, there's lots of kids that love to draw. Now, the next thing on the list is plasters and Panadol. Now, these are for you. This is for your private stash, because you don't want to be bleeding over your clients and you don't want to have a massive headache and have that taking you away from them. Now, I'm not saying you can't share those if the client's like, do you have a Panadol? Or, I've got a need plaster for my kid, they've just hurt themselves. You have to let people know, because it is officially a business setting. You have to let people know that you're not a registered medical person, unless you are, obviously. And that if they do take that, it's just on a personal basis. And I would actually suggest looking into your local legislation, because the last thing you want is to give somebody medication that isn't for them. And on that same thought, take a bottle of water with you so you don't dehydrate, because again, the last thing you want is to be dehydrated. A little pair of scissors are really, really useful, especially if you've got the needle and thread, but scissors come in handy for many, many things, trust me. Sanitizer, mainly because if you've got a little bit of a runny nose, if you're dealing with clients, especially clients with children, and of course the big bug that everybody's been afraid of in the last couple of years, just putting a little bit of hand sanitizer on in front of your clients can just make them feel a little bit more at ease, especially, like I said, if you've got a bit of a runny nose. It might be allergies, it might be hay fever, it puts them at ease. And the other thing is, if you have clients with small children and they have runny noses, then you'll want some sanitizer, but maybe do that where they can't see that you're putting sanitizer on because their kids have a runny nose. And I speak from experience because we have 3 germ bags. So
Just call me a germ bag.
I did indeed call you a germ bag. I called all 3 of you a germ bag, actually. So it's fine. Just accept it. Children are germ bags. It is what it is. Keep sanitized so that you can keep working. And lastly, tissues. And I'm not talking about a box. Little wee packets. You can buy those cute little packets. And I say this because A, they're easy for you to conceal in your back pocket or something like that. But if you have a couple of extras, sometimes people have a runny nose and they forget to bring their tissues. So just being able to give them a little pack will make them feel a little bit at ease. And it also might be a really good reason for them to rehire you. And I know that sounds really ridiculous. Oh, somebody's going to rehire me because of tissues. It's not about that. It's about the fact that you were prepared and professional and kind. And that's what people remember. They will remember the experience, and small things like that can really make a difference. Now, this isn't an exhaustive list by any stretch of the imagination. There are so many cool bits and pieces that you can get as a photographer, but these are some of the cheap essentials that I think you should always just have in your bag, because I know I've had experiences where I haven't had them and it's ended up badly. I truly recommend making this pack, and I wish that I'd had it sooner. Now, please, after I've done this, let me know what I've missed so that I can make sure that I upgrade my August 2024 to a September 24, no, October 2024, etc. And that will also help other people in the community make sure that they get the best pack that they can so that they don't end up in these situations. And if this episode was useful to you, if you could pay me back in likes, that would be really good, because the YouTube monster, I need to keep feeding it likes, and the more likes I feed it, the more it likes me. And while you're down there, if you'd like more photography related videos in your home feed, click the subscribe button. And if you're one of those people that needs to know things first, the notification bell is for you. And I will see you guys in the comment section.